could tag you.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host, whose information will be provided upon request.
My brothers keep a show, I gotta let them know. Tuesday, 7 p.m., gotta let them know. 3 M's, mention model, gotta multiply. God gets all the glory, hands in the
Welcome to the My Brother's Keeper television show, where we ignite a spirit of excellence through mentoring, modeling, and multiplying. I'm thrilled to have you join us on this Tony the Tiger Terrific Tuesday, and guess what? It's simply great. Before we dive into today's empowering content, here are a few housekeeping rules if you like to join the conversation. Our call-in number is 301-429-9247 or 301-429-WBGR. Also, don't forget to like and share this broadcast with your network. And for even more inspiring content, head over to our My Brother's Keeper YouTube channel, where you can like and subscribe to stay updated on all of our latest episodes. Let's make today's show one to remember. Okay, let's get on out the way and talk about vote.org. There is 2,010 days until vote November 5th, 2024. Again, the website is vote.org. Okay, in the upcoming November 5th, 2024 election, a significant portion of Congress's seats will be on the ballot, totaling 468 across both chambers. This includes the election for approximately 1/3 of the Senate, with 35 seats available, and all of 435 seats in the House of Representatives that are up for election. Can you say that again? Let's hashtag that. Hashtag vote.org. Also, it's important to highlight the historical context of to date. There have been 12 African American senators in the United States history, underscoring the ongoing importance of diversity and representation in our electoral process. Hashtag vote. Also, for those who are returning citizens and their families, engaging in this electoral process is crucial. Information on voting rights and specific state regulations can be found at what, ladies and gentlemen? Vote.org. Also, notably, some states, including Vermont, is 99.8% Caucasian, and Idaho is 81% Caucasian, allow individuals to vote even while serving time. This underscores the varying laws across the country and the importance of understanding your specific voting rights and requirements. Can you say hashtag vote? All right. Let's vote. And one thing that I wanted to share with you on this evening is the black population of the United States is growing. In 2022, there were an estimated of 47.9 million people who were self-identified as black, making up 14.4% of the country's population. That's 37% that is incarcerated. We the African American people make up 14.4% of America, equaling 47.9 million, and 37% of people in prison or jail is 37%. And that number, ladies and gentlemen, is 17,723 individuals. Can you say hashtag vote? And that, ladies and gentlemen, again, is not included the returning citizens who believe they cannot vote. That's why it's important why we vote, and we go to vote.org to understand the rules, the regulations, the rules, and so that we can make our voices heard as a result of voting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for our African American moment? This African American moment, ladies and gentlemen, again, is presented by Angels of Hope, a ministry dedicated to supporting the people, collaborating with the community, and cultivating resources. All right, our today's African American moment is Mr. Max Robinson. Do you remember Max Robinson? Max Robinson was a pioneering figure in American journalism, shattering racial barriers as the first African American broadcast network news anchor in the United States. His career, marked by both achievement and activism, began in the tumultuous era of the 1960s, a time when the civil rights movement was challenging the nation to confront its legacy of racism and segregation. Robinson's ascent to the anchor desk at ABC News in 1978 was a significant milestone, symbolizing not just personal triumph, but also a broader shift towards diversity in the media industry. His presence on the national platform was a powerful statement against the racial prejudices that had long excluded African Americans from such high visibility roles. Robinson was known for his compelling delivery, journalistic integrity, and the depth he brought to his reporting, qualities that endeared him to viewers across the country. Beyond his groundbreaking role on television, Max Robinson was deeply committed to advocating for racial equality and using journalism as a tool for social change. Throughout his career, including his time as an anchorman at Channel 9 News, WUSA, in Washington, D.C., he was vocal about the media's responsibility to provide accurate and fair representation of African Americans. Robinson's work extended beyond the newsroom. He was actively involved in community service and mentoring young journalists, particularly those of color, encouraging them to pursue their professional dreams with tenacity and resilience. His legacy is not only that of a trailblazer in the broadcasting industry, but also as a relentless advocate for justice and equality. Robinson's life and career left an indelible mark on American journalism, reminding future generations of the power of representation and the importance of diversity in storytelling. Ladies and gentlemen, we salute Mr. Max Robinson as our African American moment person on this day. Also, if you would like to sponsor an African American moment, please contact us at mybrotherskeeper@gmail.com or simply 240-432-5790. That number again is 240-432-5790. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right down into it. Mr. Kenney G. Davis. All right. Before we dive into our interview with Mr. Davis, it's important to understand the remarkable journey he has undertaken from the depths of addiction and turmoil to the shining beacon of hope and redemption. Mr. Davis' story is one of resilience, faith, and unwavering determination. In his book, There is Light at the End of the Tunnel, he candidly shares his experiences from the challenges of living in the hood to the transformative power of faith and vision. Through his encounters with influential figures like Ron McNair and his own brother, Davis' narrative is a testament to the human spirit's capacity for renewal and growth. As we embark on this interview, let us draw inspiration from Mr. Davis' journey and glean insights into the transformative power of hope and perseverance. So after this commercial break, we'll be right back with author Mr. Kenney Davis.
difficult times of the spread of the coronavirus and you're not able to connect with your church congregation, WBGR Gospel Network has the perfect solution for you. We have the capability to live stream you remotely from any location of your choice. Your members and thousands around the world will be able to see and hear your message, donate to your ministry, and now know that your ministry exists. Let us connect you to the world. WBGR Network. Where you go, we follow. Contact us today, 301-429-9247. That's 301-429-WBGR.
Sports is what we do. It's the fast track at peak speed, moving across the ice, blockers, hitters, B-team, beatdowns, and knockouts, doubleheaders, playoffs, touchdowns, smackdowns, on the mat or on the track. The spirit of a champion. The triple-double. Make that double front flip. This is what we do.
Back to the My Brother's Keeper television show with Mr. Kenney G. Davis himself. Okay, check this out. I almost put let me just share this with you. I almost put Kenney G as Kenney G, the saxophonist,
right.
the soprano saxophonist.
Right.
And I said, wait a minute, that might get a little bit more, audience. So I said, you gotta do what you gotta do. But no, I just wanted to let you know that I almost was a little bit on the left side, man. But I definitely turned around and I said, no, we're not going to roll that way. We're going to keep it a buck. We're going to keep it 100 because I do believe that the testimony is definitely powerful and even encouraging. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go, Mr. Kenney G. Davis. And Mr. Kenney G, who are you?
Oh, I am a result of my story. I don't know where to start.
Okay, let's do this then. Let's rock with this.
Okay.
Can you share a pivotal moment from your book? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, he does have a book that authored, Life at the End of the Tunnel. A very profound and thought-provoking book that allows you to that travels through his experience. So at this point, can you share a pivotal moment from your book that you believe truly defines who you are as a person?
I have several pivotal moments. I want to share one closely related to when I was in my addiction. And I remember, at this time I was smoking crack cocaine. And I remember going 100 miles an hour. I was living in my mother's house. And, we're talking about a 30-something-year-old man living in his mother's house. I couldn't stop. I had a job. I was working full time. Every time I got my money, I would spend my money the wrong way. I would usually get home sometimes 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And if you got a mother like mine, those are not the hours you're supposed to come in the house. And I'd always make a promise to her that I would come straight home from work. It never worked out. No matter how much willpower I thought I had, it never worked out. So the pivotal moment came for me when I convinced myself that I was going to take my money and I was going to come home and I was going to make my mom proud and not do anything, not use any drugs. And I said to myself, well, I got my check, and I said, well, just one. Let me just have just one hit of crack cocaine. And that one kept me out there until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
And I don't care how much willpower you think you have. It's not about willpower. But when I came home, I remember I tried to creep in the house, and my mother, I had the type of home where I had to go by my mother's bedroom to get to my bedroom.
Okay.
And she had her door wide open. She had her glasses hanging off her face. And the look on her face when she saw me, it melted me. She was so disappointed. She was crying as well because she didn't want to see her son the way she saw her son. And I'll never forget that. That was a pivotal moment for me. And I said to myself, I'll never do that again.
Wow.
And the next week, I did the same exact thing. And it's funny because it hurt me all that week that I hurt my mother. And I said to myself, I'll never do it again. But I said, just one. I can control it this time. Just one. I can control it this time. Wow. Same exact thing. My mother was crying when I came in. She said, you need help.
Wow. Wow.
And I remember going to my bedroom. I felt so ashamed. I shut the door. And at that moment, I made a decision to change my life around.
Wow.
Try to change my life around.
Wow.
That was a pivotal moment.
That's powerful because that was indeed your pivotal moment. And
one of them.
One of them.
Now let me just say this.
Go ahead.
Even though I did surrender to a program, I went right back out.
You went right back out.
Yeah. So it was a pivotal moment, though.
Okay. And thank you for sharing. And I want to say that thank you for sharing, trusting me with your story as we're talking and sharing with a listening audience. I like to say that it was definitely, ladies and gentlemen, an honor when I was able to connect with Brother Davis as we both shared time and space on a program that we served on, which is Angels of Hope. And the setting was the 7 last words, but we didn't do the original or the regular 7 last words of Christ, but we did the 7 last words of addiction. And recovery. And it was so powerful. It was so powerful. And that's when I was able to connect with you. And I was like, man, you got to come on and share the story.
I'm on
you know, because again, people need to understand many people are struggling with addiction. It doesn't have to be crack, it doesn't have to be alcohol, it could be sex, it could be pornography, it could be anything, but people need hope. People need to know and understand that there is a way out of whatever it is that have them bound.
Everyone's addicted to something.
Come on.
And the acronym for HOPE is hearing other people's experience.
Woo!
When you hear someone
say that again, brother. Say that again.
The acronym for HOPE is hearing other people's experience. So whatever addiction it might be that you're struggling with, you need to get with someone that has that same addiction that you can relate to, and let them show you how they got through that tunnel. Because there's life at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, sir.
You just got to know how to find it. You know, someone's on that path in front of you. You just got to seek them out and tell them, how did you get here? There's a story about this guy that fell down a hole. This guy, he falls down a hole, and everyone's, you know, they up above. The people going to work, and you know they're stopping by. They're looking down the hole, and the guy says, "Hey, I'm stuck down here. Can you help me get out?" The first person says, "Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm late for work. I gotta go." You know, guy with a briefcase, he went off to work, and another construction worker said, "Oh, you stuck down there? Oh, I'm sorry. I wish I had the tools to get you out, but I don't." He went on by. Finally, a guy comes by. The guy in the hole says, "Hey, I'm stuck in this hole. Can you please help me? Can you help me get out?" The guy says, "Oh, you're stuck? Okay, I got you." So the guy up top starts to climb down the hole. The guy in the hole says, "No, don't come down. Don't come down. What are you doing?" The guy climbs all the way down in the hole with the guy. The guy in the hole says, "What are you doing? How come you climb down here? Now we're both stuck."
Yes, sir.
He said, "The thing you don't know is I know the way out."
Woo!
So
Talk
there's someone
talk.
that knows the way out of that addiction that you're struggling with. You know, it's important to get around those people. You got to separate from people, places, and things. Those are the three things that you need to separate from in order you to start your journey down that road. The longest journey starts with the first step.
Wow. I like to say 1,000-mile journey begins with one step. That first step.
Yes.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
One
Yes.
bite at a time. I'm going
Yes.
to concentrate on that. One
Yes.
bite
Yes.
at a time. You know, when you talk about departure, separating people, places, and things, one thing that I'm reminded of is in order to get somewhere, you got to be willing to leave where you are.
Exactly.
In order for me to have a desire to go over here to that table, I must be willing to get up from where I am. And the hardest thing, oftentimes, because we form places of being comfortable and complacency in our comfortability. And so therefore it's like we become settled and nestled and we don't want to move. And so, and then again, on top of the fact that we're not people a lot of times of change and like change, we stay in places that are comfortable to us. And so it's like, wow. But the hope comes when you have a desire to get up out of. And once you find someone who have experienced what you have gone through, there's the hope and can take you and lead you out of. Talk about
You know, sometimes, there's a saying that says, you got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately,
Yes,
it
sir.
takes pain for people to want to move. You know, I have a friend named Daniel that tells this story about this dog that was sitting on the porch. And he was sitting there with the owner of the dog sitting back in the rocking chair, just rocking. And this little boy walking to school every day. The dog is on the porch, and the dog's, he's screaming. And the little boy's like, what's wrong with this dog? Every time I walk past this guy's house, his dog is screaming in agony every single time. And one day the little boy says to the owner, "Hey, what's wrong with your dog? How come every time I see him, he's in agony?" The owner says, "Well, one thing you don't know is the dog, he's laying on a nail. And when he gets tired, he'll get up." So sometimes it takes pain to move you out of that space. When you get enough pain, you'll make that decision to move. You'll make that decision to move. Or not.
Wow.
Because you can also die in your addiction.
Wow. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, please like and share, and definitely tell someone about this show, because again, we're talking live and it's real talk, and again, the call-in number is 301-429-9247, 301-429 WBGR, and this is real talk going down, and we want to talk to someone that have a hope, and someone that have hope that can lead you out of the hole. And again, life at the end of the tunnel. Mr. Kenney G. Davis, not the saxophonist that plays, but Mr. Kenney G. Davis, the author, has a book. Where can they get this book, Mr. Davis?
They can get that on Amazon. If you go to Amazon, you'll see it, Life at the End of the Tunnel. Kenney Davis.
All right. How did you? Okay, we're gonna walk through the book now. How did you encounter Mr. Ron McNair,
Oh wow.
and how has he influenced your life?
Okay, so now you're taking me way back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's walk it. Let's walk it. Let's walk it.
I was actually born here in the D.C. area, but I left here when I was in 4th grade.
Okay.
And I moved to Boston. And Boston, when I went
I
there,
still hear the accent.
Yeah,
Okay.
still here. I was there for years.
Ka.
Exactly. Park the car, you know.
Yes,
but
sir.
you know, I grew up in Boston, and where I grew up was predominantly white. Predominantly, my father, ex-Navy man, also went to MIT.
Okay.
You know, good dad. I had a good dad. He moved us to Boston, and in my neighborhood, like I said, all white, very prejudiced. I had all of my brothers. Let me just say, my father and mother separated. My father took all the men and moved up to Boston.
Okay.
And my sister stayed here in D.C.
Okay.
with my mom. So I'm the youngest of all my brothers.
Okay.
So they never wanted me to hang out with them. Of course, I'm the youngest brother.
Yeah. Okay.
Outside of the house, I had really no friends because they were all white and they really didn't like a black kid. So I had nowhere to go. But down the street from my home was a church, African AME church. And I found shelter in that church because I was going there for service. And then I heard they had karate classes there.
Okay.
So my karate instructor was Ron McNair. And if you don't know who Ron McNair is, he's the black astronaut
Yes, sir.
that passed away in the Space Shuttle Challenger when that blew up. And Ron was my second father figure and my mentor.
Okay.
And he put a lot of good things in me.
I mean, just the understanding of who Ron McNair was, the astronaut, aerodynamics, I mean, engineering, and I mean, to just be mentored from the minds of, a mind of such an individual, just powerful.
Yes,
It's
yes,
such
indeed.
powerful.
Yes, indeed. And Ron was also a fantastic fighter too.
Okay.
He was
Okay.
a martial artist. A lot of
Okay.
people don't know that about
Okay.
Ron. Ron, every time we went to tournaments,
Ladies and gentlemen, isn't this amazing? Because he gets to call him Ron. I get to call him Mr. Ron McNair. Okay, go ahead.
every time people could not figure out. Wow! Every time we went to karate tournaments, our school would come up with all the trophies. They
Okay.
couldn't figure it out.
Okay.
But the secret was this. In my school, you couldn't get a black belt until you spent at least 6 years or more before you got it.
Okay.
In a lot of schools, you can get a black belt in 3 years.
Okay.
So what that meant was when we're fighting in our different weight classes, our different belt classes, our white belts are really, they're like almost like green belts.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we're fighting other white belts, we've been a white belt a lot longer than you have.
Yes.
Or we've been
yes.
a brown belt a lot longer. We would leave the tournament with all the trophies.
Okay.
And at least most of the trophies every time.
Wow.
And we were a small
Wow.
school.
Wow.
A small school.
Just that whole mastering of the art and having that staying power and the discipline.
Yeah.
And so it seems to me that Mr. McNair understood the science behind what he was giving you guys.
Yes, he did. And my style was Shotokan. It's a Japanese form of martial arts. It's a hard style karate. The difference between hard style and soft style is hard style you use force, as opposed to soft style you redirect the punch or the weight of your opponent. So we are hard style. We use force. So that's that was what Ron taught, and he taught us very traditional Japanese martial arts straight from Okinawa.
Okay.
His sensei was taught by a Japanese master. So we were very traditional in everything. Even speaking the language like Masudachi, Kibadachi, Zenkusadachi, Niko Hachidachi. These are different stances and punches and kicks, and so we learned all that stuff from Ron at a young age as a child.
Wow.
So
that was very powerful, and I'm
very powerful.
Even something to carry on into your adulthood, even regarding the disciplines. So, but how did that you lose the discipline when it came to your addiction?
I lost the discipline when the Space Shuttle Challenger blew up. So when the Challenger blew up, I something in here just went. I remember coming home, and I was out playing or whatever with some friends. And I come in the house, and my brothers are looking at me, my father's looking at me, and they're just staring at me. They were like, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay. What are you talking about? Did you see the news?" "Did I see the news? What are you talking about? What's on the news?" So I watched the news, and I watched the whole thing about the spaceship. And when I saw it blow up, something in me just went to
kind of exploded.
It went to the left.
Wow.
It went to the left, and I couldn't take it.
How many years did you spend in that place of addiction after the
18
explosion?
years.
18 years. Wow.
18 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And it started with marijuana, because I would not touch anything. And in fact, Ron, he kept me away from the kids that was always saying, "Hey, what you doing? Come on, man. You want to smoke some weed?" He's like, "Nah, man, I don't want none of that. I don't want that. I don't do that, And I remember just one day saying, "You know what? Let me try it." And I had just, I was looking for love in the wrong places, I guess. Looking for something to hang on to. And that just, it started with marijuana, and it just evolved. It just evolved.
So in reality, that was your gateway into 18-year experience of addiction.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Until it brought me to a point. Now, I told you about the incident with my mom, and how I went into a program. The program was called Save the Seed Ministries. Pastor Shine. Okay, I was in
Save
that.
the Seed.
Yeah, I was in that program. I was in that program 3 times. I went in 3 times and ran out 3 times. Different ways. I remember them saying, when I first went there, I remember I said, "Okay, I'm committed now. I'm going to be here. I'm good." It was about 2 weeks in. And they told me, I like to work out. I always like to work out because I came from a little kid. They said, "Okay, now remember, you can't do any push-ups and all that type of stuff. There's no working out your first 2 weeks," or I forget how many weeks, 6 weeks or whatever they said. I said, "Okay, fine, no problem." I had no problem with the rules. I got a phone call from my brother saying, "Hey, you got a check here for $500. So what I did is, my mind said, well, I started working out. I started working out, started doing my push-ups. They said, "Hey, you can't work out. We told you no working out." I said, "Oh, no working out?" They said, no working out.
Absolutely not.
And I said, "Well, I guess I don't need to be here then." They said, "Well, I guess you don't." And that was it. And I took off. And let me tell you something. At that time, Save the Seed was in Waldorf. I'm not a runner. But I ran.
That five had you on the go.
I ran from Waldorf to D.C. non-stop. I don't know where that energy came from. I'm not a runner, but I ran all the way home. And they were in the car, right? And they came out the car and they caught me when I was going over the line. They said, "There he is, right there." And they caught you. They called me the running man. They gave me the name. I Saved the Seed. They said, "That's the running man." That was their name for me. I went home. I'm gonna tell you how tricky this addiction is. I went home and I said, "Okay, I ain't touching the money. I ain't touching nothing." Me and my brother shared an apartment, and I had my own room there. And my brother was doing his thing. out there, smoking weed, all that stuff. I said, oh, I'm clean now.
I'm good.
I got over 2 weeks. I'm clean. I'm good. Keep that stuff away from me. I'm shutting my door. I shut my door. I laid on my bed, picked up my Bible, opened up my Bible. I laid on my bed, and the words were looking at me, and I had no idea what I was looking at.
Come on.
And the smell was just going up my nose, and I was looking at the Bible. I closed the book, opened the door, and said, "Man, bring that stuff in here." And there we go. I started all over again. What brought me to my my final surrender was when I tried to hang myself. I was the manager of a upholstery company on Beach Road, and I remember this 2-week process. I kept waking up depressed. Every day I'm depressed. I sit on the edge of my bed, wondering if I should go to work. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to, but I'm the manager. I got to go in. So I go to work. But I remember this one particular day after about 2 weeks, the same thing. I woke up. I saw my necktie hanging in the closet. And I saw the light fixture over my head, and I contemplated for a good 15 minutes on that bed. And I'll never forget it. I wanted to hang myself so bad I could taste it. And I said, I should just end this because I'm tired of waking up. And my prayer was, Lord, if you really love me, you would stop me from waking up. I don't want to wake up anymore. I'm tired of waking up. I'm tired. That was my favorite word. I'm tired. And I like to think it was the Spirit of God that said, no, go to work. I went to work. That day was like Murphy's Law. It was a day from hell. I mean, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Customers calling, complaining. Remember, I'm the manager. They're calling, complaining, this, that. People, the staff was shorthanded. I had to do extra work. It was just crazy. And I made a decision at that time. You know what? I'm tired. I don't want this anymore. I don't want life anymore. And I got up from where I just dropped everything I was doing. I got up. I went out the door. My boss, the owner of the company, said, "Hey, where you going?" I said, "Don't worry about it. I won't be back." And he just sort of looked at me like, "What?" I walked out the door.
Wow.
And this is God. I walked out the door. I was on the front steps of the upholstery shop. My brother pulled up and stopped the car right in front of me. And he jumped out the car and he said, "You're suicidal." I said, "No, I'm not. What are you talking about?" He said, "You're suicidal, and I'm not going to let you do what you're about to do." I hadn't seen my brother in 2 years. My brother didn't know where I worked. My brother didn't know where I lived. And he came out of the car, didn't say hi to me. He didn't say hi, "Hey brother, how you doing?" He jumped out the car with conviction, slammed the door, and said, "You're suicidal. The Spirit of God don't lie." And that is when I made my final surrender. He said, look, he got out the car, he came up to the top of the steps, he grabbed me by my shirt, pinned me against the wall, and said, the Spirit of God doesn't lie. I'm not going to let you do what you're about to do. And I knew that God sent him. I said, first of all, how did he know where I worked? I ain't seen him in 2 years, and he right here at this minute, at this moment, at this time, right now, when I couldn't wait to get home so I could hang myself. I wanted to hang myself so bad.
That you told the owner of the company, "Don't worry about it, I won't be back."
And so we made an agreement. He said, "There's this program I want you to try." and it's an in-house 1-year program. I said to myself, look, I was about to give my whole life away. What's a year? I don't care. So I went into a place called the Gospel Rescue Ministry, the Gospel Mission. Some people know this, the Gospel Mission. My 1-year in-house men's program.
Okay.
And that's where I began to recover. Because all those other times that I ran, saved the seed, I wasn't recovering. I was doing what you call an oil change.
Yeah.
I was getting an oil change because
Okay.
I hadn't surrendered. That's why I say it's all about pain. When you get enough pain, my pain came to a point where I wanted to die. I just wanted to die. And the guy said this to me that made a whole lot of sense when I first came into this program. I thought I was suicidal. He said, you're not suicidal. You're just tired of the way you're living.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I thought about it. I
said,
said, well, yeah, if I was living differently, I wouldn't be suicidal. I'm just tired of the way I'm living. Yeah. I mean, if I had a nice house or car or whatever, I'd be okay. Yeah, right. I'm tired of the way I'm living.
Exactly.
So that was the beginning of me thinking differently. They allowed us at that gospel mission to go in a 1.5 block radius. Within that block and a half radius was an AA meeting called the Metropolis Club.
Okay.
The Metropolis Club was where I got away from the guys, got away from the shelter. It was a shelter that I was in, shelter. And I would walk up to the AA meeting, not to get an AA meeting, not to hear about I'm an alcoholic or drug addict or any of that stuff, because I really didn't believe that inside. I just knew I had a problem, but I still thought I could control it if I just did something different. Maybe just use on the weekends or whatever. But
on days that begin with T.
Right.
Tuesday, Thursday, today,
Exactly.
tomorrow.
Exactly. I like that. But that AA meeting is where, like I said, the second step, step 2, someone other than yourself to get some new information. That's how you can remember the second step. And hope. That's the second step. Hearing other people's experience, like I said before. As you hear other people's experience, that is God restoring you to sanity. Because you realize that you weren't the only one that went through that. Because sometimes we can, our voice is the most, we hear our voice more than we hear anyone else's. So if the more I talk to myself and convince myself that I'm no good, I should be disposed like a disposable lighter, or I don't deserve to live, or all this negative stuff that we can say to ourselves. We got to watch our self-talk. That can take us to a place where we don't want to live, or we just can't stop the addiction. But hearing other people's experience, because see what the devil wants to do, he wants to separate you. He want to get you by yourself, and he want to destroy you.
Keep whipping on you.
Yes, you're no good. No one's been through what you've been through. You got the worst story in the world. God dealt you the worst hand in the world. Why did he deal you this hand? Why did you have to get this hand? You got the worst hand possible.
Wow.
Why?
Wow.
You might as well just die.
Wow.
But when you go and you hear someone else's story, hope. Because you say, wait a minute. I went through that.
Yes, sir.
And I went through that. Oh, wow, I went through that too. And then I remember when I first heard my story, I couldn't believe it. I heard a female at an AA meeting telling my story. And I identified out for probably the first 6 months of my addiction. I would come in there and I'd fold my arms and I'd size everyone up because I'm a fighter. Don't mess with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sizing everybody up, and I'm looking at the women because I don't care about the guys, but I want to see some beautiful women, and I want to drink some coffee. That's what I wanted to do. So I came to AA meetings, like I said, not to stop my addiction, or I came to drink coffee. And I came to look at the women. That was the reason why I came down the street.
Wow.
And as I began to hear my story, they say in AA, you come to, and then you come to believe. So you got to come first, and then you come to, you wake up, and then you come to believe.
Wow.
And you understand, and that's the second step.
Yes,
second
sir.
step. Came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. First, you got to come. Once you come, then you can come to.
That revelation.
And then once you come to, you come to believe. Now that you're believing, now you have a chance. You got a shot at the title. You got a shot at the title. You got a shot to get everything that God said you would have. I prayed for the skating rink over 15 years ago. I'm now one of the owners of the skating rink on Branch Avenue.
Well, don't go too fast. Don't go too fast. Don't go too fast. Don't go too fast.
The spirit is moving right now. But okay, I'm slowing down.
So even as you come to the place of understanding, right there, you come to. So you come to the realization or the revelation of the trigger of the trauma.
Yes.
Before you begin the transformation.
Yes.
What can you talk about of accepting and identifying and accepting that trauma?
So the first step is the powerlessness and the unmanageability. So I came to believe that every time I took a drink or drugs, just like the scenario with my mom where I said I tried the willpower, I tried not to, not to come in the house high anymore and all that type of stuff. Willpower alone won't get you there. It won't get you there. I was still around the same people, places, and things. And if nothing changes, nothing changes.
That's right. That's right.
So
That's right.
So first I had to understand I was unmanageable and I was powerless over my addiction. Second, I had to let somebody else in to give me some new information.
Hope.
Exactly. The first step is the problem. The second step is the solution. And then the third step, I had to make a decision.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
that's
sir.
your foundation.
Yes, sir.
Because see, now I can make an informed decision because of the second step. Someone gave me the information. Hey, if you take a drink, you're gonna get drunk. Real simple. The bottle ain't gonna come up to you.
Absolutely.
You got to make that decision to go to it. But once you know that your life is unmanageable and that you're powerless over that thing, that's the first step. You don't touch it, no matter what. Don't touch it. The second step, how do I stay away from it? What are the things I got to do? Oh, people, places, and things. Okay, let me stay away from people, places, and things that's going to bring me back to this. And then the third step, I make a decision to turn my will and my life, that's my attitude and my actions, over to the care of God as I understand them. Because when I came in, I had a different understanding of God. I mean, when I thought God was a punishing God. I thought God was you make one mistake and you're going to hell type God. But after coming into the program, I understand that God is loving and He's caring. And not only that, but He knew I was going to do what I was going to do. In fact, He needed to use my testimony.
Yeah.
So He allowed me to go through what I went through without me being killed or killing myself within the process, because He knew that me and you would be sitting here talking, doing this interview.
Yes, sir.
Talking to this lovely audience right here, and someone out there would be able to hear my story and maybe save their life or save someone else's life.
That's powerful, because again, you experience as a result of the trauma. You may you have the trauma, and you experience triggers that drive you back to the trauma, and the addiction began to spin and to spin. But God, in His infinite wisdom, allows us an opportunity to be in a space to hear the hope. It does not enter the heart of man but the hope. You know what I'm saying? He gives us a hope for something greater than ourselves. And so therefore He places a hope in front of us to see. And then not only does He place the hope in front of us for us to gravitate, to grab, and to even be transformed, but we are transformed by the hope that we have seen.
Right.
And so we become that hope to someone else, basically. That's why
that hope by the renewing of our minds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And our minds have to be renewed, and sometimes the only way our mind can be renewed is to see that testimony, to see someone else's testimony, someone else's lifestyle.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And now you got, now you believe that, hey, if he can do it, I can do it too.
I'm God thankful for this platform because we can talk about the God power, the Spirit of God that dwells within us, because a faith that is outside of us won't work until we experience a faith that works on the inside of us. Then that faith that's outside of us becomes that much more clear and understand it that much more. And so your testimony, is able to be aired in a capacity to where others are able to hear. Because again, some platforms or television, social media outlets, you can't talk about the goodness of God and what He has done. You know what I'm saying? But this is a platform that you're able to give testimony of what God has been and done. No matter how many times you dropped Him, He never dropped you.
This is the gift. Faith that can't be tested can't be trusted.
Woo. Say that again, brother. Say that again.
Faith that can't be tested can't be trusted.
My God.
So we're all going to go through something in life, and we were all born to do something. And what it is that you were born to do, you got to find out what that is. Because
that's some good God Almighty stuff right there. That's some good God Almighty stuff right there.
We're all here for a reason.
But oftentimes, and this is where, in this whole organized place of what we say religion is, we give men key positions and they haven't been tried by the fire, and they get in key positions and they mess up the whole flow of an operation or the kingdom. We allow them access into the kingdom and they have not been through anything. They haven't been tried. And so, I don't want to get off into other things, but how can you be a bishop at 18? You know what I'm saying? That's a key position because you're over people's lives. And so therefore you haven't been tried, through the fire. And so when you go through the fire, that's the testimony. And you really don't oftentimes have to say, but there's something that someone wants to pull because they see that there's something on you that knows that there's something about.
It's a gift. Yeah, it's a gift.
If
you look at some of the great men in the Bible, a lot of them were murderers. David, Paul, Moses, I mean,
run the gamut. Run the gamut.
So not that I was a murderer. I was not that. But I was a man that went through some hardships, and now I'm usable. And one of my prayers when I was in my addiction was, I'm telling you, I had two prayers. My main two prayers one was, God, I want to be usable for you. Please make me usable. And my second prayer was, Amen. God, I want to be a general for you. I don't want to be a sergeant. I don't want to be a lieutenant. I don't want to be a colonel. I want to be a general for you. And I realized that to be a general, I have to go through some things to be a general. But that's what I want. That was my prayer in my addiction. So, I mean, it's all about serving Him and being a maximum service and not stopping and resting on your laurels, because sometimes we can get to a place where we get comfortable And we want to stop and rest and say, okay, this
right
feels
there,
good
yeah.
right here. Let me just stop.
And that's that complacency.
Complacency,
It's
yes,
like
that's the
being
word.
comfortable. It's like,
Yes.
you
There's
know,
always
good.
work to be done.
But isn't it amazing? Because in the space of complacency, what begins to happen is there's others that are still coming, striving, and trying to get to that place. But while you're in complacency, you'll shoot them down because you failed to go and grow.
Yes. And God can't use you.
And God can't use you. And you wonder why this person is inspired and have this inspiration and have this fire to move, and you keep pushing them down, saying it's not time.
Yes.
But it is time, because you were supposed to have been moved. Right. And I think that oftentimes happens in our religious setting.
This is true. I want to say one thing, because I know we're about to close out soon. But I just want to say something.
We're going to push this, man. We're going to push this as long as we're going to push it.
All right. One thing I experience a lot, people don't know your story. Never be ashamed of your story. Because your story is not for you. It's for somebody else. And as you rise above, come out of the darkness of wherever you were, you're going to experience haters. So one thing I always say about haters are elevators. They take you to the next floor. They take you to the next level. And people talk behind your back because you're right in front of them. So let people do what they do. Let them talk behind your back. Let them do whatever. But guess what? Remember who you work for? And it's a lonely place when you're trying to stand for God. Because there's a lot of people that won't stand with you. And even people that you thought would be there for the whole ride with you, sometimes they're gonna fall off. You're gonna meet new friends. You're just gonna keep rising. As you rise, people are gonna drop off. People are gonna drop off, but you're gonna meet new people on different levels.
Yeah.
Just stay in there, let God control, and you'll be all right.
One of the things that I look at haters as is having anger towards everyone reaching success. Haters,
I like
and
that.
so therefore when you have your haters and they see you reaching success, what they begin to do is be angry at you. What you must be able to do, and you talked about it earlier, detaching from people, places, and things, and not be comfortable in those spaces, because again, we got to be in a place where we're growing.
Correct.
And we can't grow if we stay in the same place and keep those same. I'm not saying do away with those relationships, but some things have to be transformed.
Recognize them.
And they have to see you differently from what they see you in your addiction. Because if they don't, they're just enabling and pacifying you. So you got to be willing to, check that at the door and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm in a different space and I'm willing to go.
That's true. You got to just be conscious of who's around you and what's around, and people will tell on themselves a lot. People don't mind you doing good as long as you ain't doing better than them.
Not better than them. Woo.
But it's too bad it's a true statement, and
it's real.
And they were never friends if they hating on you.
Well, I'm God thankful for this opportunity to share your testimony, because again, without your testimony, there would not be life at the end of the tunnel, which you can get on Amazon.com. Definitely, it's a good read, and I encourage you to go out or just click the button, go on your computer. Since we're in an information technological era, we can just go and purchase this book by Mr. Kenney G. Davis. And so even on your journey, and definitely it's not over. So you talked about the skating rink, old crystal skates. Talk about crystal skates.
Wow. It's funny. I'm going to show you how God works. I started at crystal skates when I came from Boston in 1984. I was a good skater in Boston. I'd been on the news, on TV, and all kinds of media attention. And I came here and I brought that same talent or that gift here. And so when I came up to Crystal, they said, well, we're looking for a clown. Would you like to be the clown? So I was actually the clown for Crystal Skates for all the birthday parties. And they said, you know what, we need a clown name for you.
Okay.
So one guy said, how about Rollo the clown?
Okay.
So I think his name was Daryl. He said, how about Rollo the clown? I'm like, okay, Rollo, that's a good clown name. Rollo, okay, I get it. So I've had that name ever since.
Wow.
And, you know, all skaters have a little nickname. All of us have been skating for a long time. Most of us have like a nickname, but that's the name I was given, and I worked every job in that rink, from clown to work in the kitchen to concessions to admissions to manager to now current owner.
Okay.
So God just sort of allowed me to learn everything about
Good
that
God
rink.
Almighty! Look at that! Look at that!
Yeah.
Look at that! Look at that! Well, I want to admit something to you. It was about 2.5 months, probably about 2.5, 3 months ago, before ever meeting you. I bought some skates.
Okay.
And so I said that, man, I'm a skate. I don't know what this is about, but I'm a skate, get in my cardio, and just move and get some work in. In fact, I'm going to go on down, because a young lady had told me that they move and they skate and they do their thing down in Anacostia. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and get these skates, and I'm going to do the doggone thing. And so guess what? I never took the skates out the box. Ladies and gentlemen, I never took the skates out the box. But guess what? I'm taking the skates out the box, man. And what are the hours? And do you offer, not free, but beginner lessons?
Beginner lessons are every Saturday morning at 9:45 until 11:45. And the way we do it, we have beginner, intermediate, and advanced.
Okay.
So you're going to find where you belong. We have 6 instructors that are very good.
Okay.
We also offer different styles of instruction. Once you pass beginner stage, like Chicago style, New York style, Boston style. Each
So you don't have
city-
DC style?
No. I'm not really, no, I
Hold
gotta
on,
be honest.
you said,
I gotta be honest.
no.
I gotta be honest. My style
Well, we
is
was
not so much
Colorado, man.
DC.
We had spots here in the DC area, man.
So DC is known for what's called snapping.
Uh-huh.
We have this is Snap City.
Okay.
DC, Maryland is called Snap City. Any other, you go to any state and say, hey, which state is Snap City? Oh, that's Washington. That's
Okay.
DC, Maryland.
Okay.
I didn't grow up snapping. Although I can snap, I don't call myself being very good at it.
You're going to have to tell me offline what snap and how to.
I get you. It's a style. It's a flavor.
Uh-huh.
Mine is more. I like to work the middle. I like to work the middle. I like to get in the middle and do different dance steps, routines.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I lead people in
Okay.
steps. That's what I like to do.
Okay.
Snapping is more on the outside of the skating floor. As you're going around, they hold hands, and I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes,
And they do different
yes.
trips. Tricks with the guy that's in the front.
Okay.
Is usually the one doing what's called snapping.
Okay.
So
okay.
that
got
is the
it, got
DC
it.
style.
Okay.
And DC is we do it better than anyone else.
Well, that's one thing that I grew up watching. My brother and his friends. That's what I never knew it was called snapping.
Yes.
So yeah,
Snap
that's
City.
Yeah, that's where I've always saw it.
Yes.
So.
Yes, sir.
Not to say I went anywhere else and went to a rink, but
Right.
I've always saw it and how I grew up watching. The brothers, about 4 of them, and the
Yes,
one in the front doing the twist and turn and dipping
Exactly.
and coming back up, legs up, and
Exactly right.
yeah, that's
That's
well,
snapping.
got a differerent style.
Different
DC
style.
got a different style.
So the skate lessons, you guys, we make it real easy. I got some great instructors that are teaching this Saturday mornings, 9:45 to 11:45, 3132 Branch Avenue, Temple Hills, Maryland. Formerly Crystal Skate, but it's now called Skate Matrix. Come on up, you guys are gonna enjoy yourself.
Well, definitely, ladies and gentlemen, Skate Matrix, Branch Avenue, 9:45 to 11:45. Guess what? I plan to be there, so you get a treat. But I'm not gonna fall because I'm gonna do some beginning lessons and hang out with my brother here.
Can I do a shout out?
Go
real
ahead, do
quick?
your shout out.
I want to do a quick shout out to some of my team members. Miss Jeanette Harris, who's been skating with me for over 30 years. Hey, Jeanette. My lovely wife, Tawana D, who is also the best instructor we have.
Okay.
Over at the Escape Matrix. She teaches the beginner class. Monica, who is my business manager.
Okay.
Shout out to you, Monica. You know, I have a wonderful team.
Okay,
Block,
that's awesome.
Mike.
That's awesome.
You guys are all terrific.
All
my
right.
daughter Kenyana. Can't forget about her. But that little thing will beat me up when I get in the house. She's 12 years
There's
old.
no
Kenyana,
peace.
I love you.
That's all right. Well, definitely. I see you guys on Saturday morning, 9:45. Definitely, my brother. I thank you so much.
It's an honor being here. Yes.
For allowing me to interview you with your book, Life at the End of the Tunnel. You're a blessing, a good spirit, man, and God thankful for your resurrection. And so that you can get to the point of life at the end of the tunnel, so that you can celebrate your family to leave a great legacy behind you.
About legacy.
Man, it was awesome, brother, and I'm God thankful that you were able to come and be a part of my Brother's Keeper show, man. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Pastor
Appreciate
Green, thank
man.
you for all the great work that you're doing.
Amen.
Thank you.
Amen. 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 Definitely. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, as our time together ends, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude for you joining us today. Remember, the journey to greatness is not a solo endeavor, but one shared with those who uplift and inspire us. Remember to surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you, and remember that progress is often achieved through steady perseverance. So as we conclude, let me leave you with this powerful reminder. The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. So keep climbing. Tune in next week for another electrifying episode of My Brother's Keeper every Tuesday at 7 p.m. I'm Pastor Mike Green, and see you on the other side of greatness. God bless you. Man, awesome,
That
brother.
was phenomenal.
Awesome,
bro.
brother.
No,
Awesome, brother.
3 M's meant to model, gotta multiply. God gets all the glory, hands in the sky. My Brother's Keeper show, I gotta let them know. Tuesday, 7 p.m., gotta let them know. 3 M's meant to model, gotta multiply. God gets all the glory, hands in the sky. My Brother's Keeper show. Introduce the host. My Brother's Keeper show. Introduce the host. Pastor Dr. Michael Green.